Hey, freaky geeks, it's your sassy chic of the sheets and king of tongue and cheeks, Remy K Thane, pro-dom, Kinbakushi, alternative lifestyle educator, and certified black cat owner. Today's topic is something that I feel is important for everyone, new or seasoned, in the world of alternative lifestyles, and that is building your boundaries. An important skill of not just, the alternative life, but the vanilla too. So I'm hoping you get something out of this little lesson no matter what slice of life you find yourself in. Before we get into it, as you all know, like, share, or subscribe to stay tuned into the channel when I pump out these educational videos for your viewing pleasure and edification. Patreon goes up first, YouTube gets it a week later. Patreon gets all the fun exclusive goodies, including monthly classes, AO entertainment, and more. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Boundaries are the limits to which you will interact with others and can be applied to all aspects of life. For the purpose of this video, we're just focusing on the alternative lifestyle boundaries, particularly BDSM, which will help you from being walked over, be taken advantage of, or possibly worse. Many times a boundary is something you vividly know by heart, an activity or personal interaction that you either love or hate, or maybe something you might consider experimenting with. Sometimes a boundary is discovered when you suddenly have an extreme reaction to a mental or emotional landmine. That's something that just comes out of the blue. You had no prior knowledge of it, and it's much of a surprise to you as it is to whomever you're interacting with, and can be put into your list of boundaries for future reference. Landmines happen, it's normal, it's valid, you are not crazy. And here's the thing, you don't have to explain your boundaries to anyone. They are what they are. All you have to do is be concise and unequivocally straightforward with what they are, and move forward from there. Either people can respect your boundaries, or they can take a hike. Remember folks, your boundaries are how you allow yourself to be treated, and in the case of this video, the things you're willing to do or have considered doing. They are not intrinsic qualities someone else has that they cannot change or not be in control of. For instance, a kink boundary that I have is that I do not allow people that I'm not in a dynamic or a relationship with to call me specific honorifics or titles. Those honorifics or titles are only for the people that I'm in a relationship with or dynamic with to enjoy and use. What a boundary also isn't is, I won't date anyone outside my race. That's not a boundary or taste, that's just regular racism with a brand new same colored paint job. Or, I only date a specific race. That's just racial fetishism, which is dyed racism with a brand new colored paint job. Finding and building your boundaries happens through experience, experimenting, and thoughtful examinations. Things that excite you, things that disgust you, and things you find boring are all valid. They all go into the formation of your boundaries as you journey in life. So always keep these boundaries up to date as your tastes and experience change. What do you like? What don't you like? What are you willing to try out? These things can be put into categories for you to better understand yourself when thoughts become experience and experience becomes knowledge. There's a lot of stuff out there that may not be to your taste, or maybe they are. Sometimes it starts innocently enough as one thing leads to another and awakens something inside you. One day, you're sitting in a quiet movie theater when suddenly Salma Hayek's foot gets shoved into an actor's mouth with beer being poured down his gullet. And that image causes you to perform Google searches that you never thought you'd do before. And you've never looked at beer or feet ever the same again. You know, normal stuff like that. The simplest way to develop and understand your boundaries is through color categorization. And for us in the BDSM world, we call them safe words or limitations. These color categories are the limitations we use before and during a scene, and sometimes change after a scene is completed. We typically use the three traffic colors. The color green is the green light, and would be activities you know are fun and engaging, and something you're more than happy to talk about at length or partake in extensively. The yellow color is a soft limit, which would mean activities you have considered and maybe someday under the right circumstances with the right person you would try it out. The color red are hard limits. These are activities you find unappealing, unethical, and harmful. These are things under no circumstances would you ever partake in. As an example, you could experiment with impact play in its various forms and find out for yourself that there's a specific type of light flogging that you do like. That would go into the color green. You didn't like wooden paddles, but maybe someday you might want to get back into it under the right circumstances. So that goes into the color yellow. You fucking hate whips and you hate belts. That goes into the color red. Even if you haven't experienced them, but you know full-heartedly that you wouldn't like it at all, those things can go into the red category. Again, you don't have to explain your boundaries to anyone. They are what they are. I recommend sorting activities and your thoughts on them into one of these three colored categories and putting it in a note, Excel spreadsheet, or document you have quick access to. So, make that list, check it twice, and be sure you can understand it before presenting it to anyone. Organizing your experiences and thoughts into a categorized and thoughtful list is always a good thing. That way, if someone in the scene were to ask you about it, you have a list that you can automatically pull up, recall, and reaffirm where your boundaries are at, and reinforce them if need be. However, this list can be used against you if shown to the wrong toxic person, whether it's a fake dom or sub. I highly recommend learning how to thoroughly and patiently vet someone before talking about or showing off your boundary list. Many eager kinksters have been harmed because they showed their boundary list too early to the wrong person, who used that information against this innocent human being just trying to experiment with stuff. One way that you can navigate this is by making two different boundary lists. One with your basics you're willing to share that doesn't have more than the colorful acts that are on it, and another list you only share with someone you completely and utterly trust with those colorful parts put back in. Find what works for you and what keeps you safe. Here's a couple of things you should put in that red category no matter what. Number one, assuming your consent. Under no circumstances is anyone allowed to do anything to you without your permission. By calling you honorifics, by assuming you want to be a part of this conversation, by sending you pictures that you did not ask for. Things like that. Number two, not use or believing in safe words. Anyone who actually believes that is basically a predator and an unethical human being and cannot be trusted whatsoever. I cannot emphasize that shit enough. Not only are they a danger to themselves, but to others. And even in the most complete 24/7 power exchange with that partner you know and trust inside and out, you need to have a way to pause the scene in order to communicate when needed. Safe words are for everyone. Period. Boundaries, limitations, and safe words are for everyone. The expectation societal-wise is that submissives are the ones with the most boundaries, while dominants need to be the kink dispensers to whatever a submissive needs. Wrong. It's okay to be a dominant and have boundaries. You are not going to like every little thing a submissive wants to do. And there are predatory subs out there who will take advantage of an inexperienced dominant into pressuring them to perform acts that they don't want to do or have experience in. It happens. Same thing goes for inexperienced submissives being pressured into things by predatory dominants. These predators are fake community members and absolutely dangerous. This scene can be extreme, which attracts extreme personalities and deplorable people attracted to that extremity. There are all types of people. They come in all sexualities, identities, and orientations when it comes to being a predator. I've seen it all. So whatever you identify as, keep yourself safe as a dominant, a submissive, or a switch by learning about boundaries, their enforcement, safe words, negotiating, and especially vetting processes. Remember, folks, even if you tell someone that an activity is in the green category, that does not mean you've given your blanket consent to that activity at all. For instance, I love making jokes about heroin and drugs, but if in the middle of a date they started lighting up a dirty spoon and a used syringe and saying, "This is going to be great material for you," I still did not consent to that happening just because I talked about it. If anyone starts getting into the yellow territory without your consent, you know they're just being pushy and trying to test you. They want to find out if you're going to enforce your boundaries. It's a huge red flag. If they start inching towards the red territory, you know you're dealing with a predator, which is the red flag. Until the parties involved have given their undeniable, enthusiastic consent to an activity together, everyone should assume nothing. And again, as a reminder, consent can always be revoked for any reason or no reason at all. Boundaries and safe words are for everyone, for dominants and submissives alike. They are your first line of defense when dealing with others, and it's a helpful reminder of who you are and what you stand for. And just like you, it'll change with time and experience. The important part is developing them and recognizing what you like, what you might want to try out, and what you absolutely will never do. Enforcement of these boundaries is a whole nother video that could easily be a 2-hour lecture, specifically behind a paywall that I'm going to price gouge. Socialism in the streets, capitalism in the streets, baby! On a serious note, I do hope that all the new and inexperienced people venturing into the world of BDSM take this to heart before interacting with anyone extensively or at events unfamiliar to you. Do your homework, because the only person watching your back in this world is you. Thanks for watching, everybody. You can follow my shenanigans on all social media platforms that I barely keep up to date with, such as Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. If I don't see you in your dreams, or in my dungeon located in the good old Southern California, then we'll just have to wait for the next video. I've been Remy, and you've been amazing. Thank you for watching.